Hey everyone, you're watching We Had That, and today I'm going to be talking about the Templar Knights Legion Builders from the Mythic Legions line of action figures. Before I get started on the Mythic Legions Templar Knights figures, I want to mention that unlike most of the figures in the Mythic Legions line, the Templars are based on an actual, powerful, and mysterious historical organization called the Knights Templar. The Crusades led to the capture of the city of Jerusalem in the year 1099. Once control had been taken from the Muslims, many Christians wanted to make a pilgrimage to the city. Although the city itself was relatively safe, the journey to Jerusalem was extremely dangerous. Many pilgrims who tried to make the trip were robbed and killed before ever reaching the city. As a result, a monastic order was created to protect the pilgrims on their treacherous journey. Over the nearly 200 years of their existence, the Knights Templar grew from a small group of 9 knights to a gigantic, powerful organization which has been credited with, among other things, creating some of the foundations of banking. Unlike the knights before them, the Knights Templar followed a very strict code of conduct. Although they were knights, they were also monks who had sworn a vow of poverty, chastity, and obedience. Their seal showed 2 knights riding on 1 horse to symbolize their poverty. They were well trained in the art of warfare and believed that to surrender without being given the order was far worse than death. These knights were the basis of the legends of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, and have now also become the primary influence for the Mythic Legions Templar Knights action figures. In the Mythic Legions world, the Templar Knights are members of the Order of Aetheron. Much like the real Knights Templar, this order was based on religion. And also, like the Templar Knights, it suffered from corruption within its ranks. But the order is now in the process of redeeming their reputation. The order was originally created to fight against the Congregation of Necronominus, and I look forward to seeing the new figures of their skeletal enemies in upcoming Mythic Legions waves. According to the Four Horsemen, the Templar figures are some of the most popular figures from the Mythic Legions line. The first Templar figure to be released was Sir Godfrey back in Wave 1.5, which had to be ordered in early 2016 before the first wave of figures had arrived. So at that point, no one had actually held a Mythic Legions figure in their hands to see how awesome they are. As a result, there's not a lot of Sir Godfrey figures out there. Because he was so popular, the demand grew as new collectors discovered the Mythic Legions line. The Four Horsemen didn't want to re-release Sir Godfrey in the next wave just a few months later, so in creating the Covenant of Shadow series, they decided to include a Templar Knight Legion Builder figure instead, which worked well for anyone who wanted an entire Templar army because the builder figures were less expensive than the named characters. The Templar Knight was very similar to Sir Godfrey, but with a few small differences. The Templar Knight had a spike on his helmet instead of a plume. He had different shoulder pauldrons. He came with 2 different neck armor pieces and came with different accessories. Also, he had fewer paint apps. Interestingly, the Templar Knight remains so popular that he was included a second time in 2018 in the second All-Stars wave. Due to a mistake at the factory, the All-Stars version of the Templar Knight received extra paint apps and ended up arriving looking even more like Sir Godfrey than the first Builder Templar Knight. This All-Stars 2 version is the one that I own, so he's the one you're seeing in all of the photos here. The main difference in the paint apps from the first Templar Knight Builder is all the gold accents on the armor were not supposed to be there, but they certainly make the figure look even more awesome. I picked up this figure from the Four Horsemen directly for just $25, and he looks so great that I regret not getting a second one. The Templar Knight has a classic style bucket helmet with a spike on top. The helmet has a gold cross reinforcing the front of the helmet. On the original release of this figure, the gold on the cross was the only paint on the helmet, but the second release also had gold painted rivets, which I think is a nice touch. Even though several of my other figures use the same body armor, this silver version with the additional gold accents looks excellent. His white tunic with the red cross on the front is a classic look that I'm sure I've seen on various knights since I was a kid, and it all works together to make this figure look exactly like what I would want from a knight figure. The Templar Knight Builder comes with several accessories. First, he has a standard sword that's come with many of the Mythic Legions figures. The blade on this sword is silver and the hilt is painted gold. Next, he has a halberd. The halberd comes in two pieces, the pole and the blade, which you put together when you take it out of the package. The pole is gold and the blade is silver. His shield is silver with the face painted white with the red cross to match his tunic. He also comes with a banner displaying the Templar cross and a two-piece pole on which it can be mounted. It looks great, but it's a little tough to photograph for a horizontal video. The Templar Knight was packaged with a larger neck guard, the one pictured on the left, but the smaller one pictured in the middle, which is the one that came with Sir Godfrey, was also included in the package in case you wanted to swap them out. You could also go with no neck armor at all, as pictured on the right. I prefer the smaller neck guard because it allows for more posability of the head, and since I don't have a Sir Godfrey figure, I'm not worried about the Templar Knight looking too much like him. Even if I was worried about that, the two shoulder pauldrons and the spike on the helmet make the figure look different enough that I could easily display the two figures side by side and get the effect of two different members of the same army. Much like on the helmet and the armor on the body, extra paint apps were added to the shoulder pauldrons accidentally, but I think it just makes the figure look that much better. Like most Mythic Legions figures, the Templar Knight comes with a brown belt, which, in this case, looks great on the figure and holds the sword well. He also has the two wing attachment pieces and the extender piece that have come with most of my figures, even though I personally don't feel like this guy needs a set of wings. When it comes to building an army, the Templar Knights would be an easy choice for me. In a line of awesome figures, they stand out as being particularly amazing. What do you think about the Mythic Legions Templar Knights? Do you have any of these figures in your collection? Tell me in the comments below. Also, give this video a like, share it on social media, and if you enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel and hit that notifications bell. And one last thing, if you're a fan of toys, you should know about ToyLanta, the biggest toy show in the southeastern United States, held annually just north of Atlanta, Georgia. Visit ToyLanta.com for more information. As always, thanks for watching.